Hello there and welcome to the most watched business show in the country. This is the Business Weekly Show here on City TV. My name is Michael Obodu, your host. Please follow me on Twitter at @mobodu. In the next 1 hour, I'll be bringing you a wrap of all the major business news stories for the week. So if you're ready, let's go. Who would have thought that we would get here so quickly? But it's finally here. Fuel prices have crossed the 8 Ghana cedi mark, and this is quite fascinating and disturbing considering the fact that we started the year at just about 6 cedis 50 pesos. Yet, from the look of things, we still might have to brace ourselves for the worst.
A drive through town and one is greeted with another upward adjustment in fuel prices. Price boards at various major fuel pumps like Total and Shell have price of fuel at 8 Ghana cedis 29 pesos per litre. 2 weeks ago, a litre of fuel was sold for 7 Ghana cedis 99 pesos until an adjustment in the first pricing window of March. But why is the price increment regular and can't it be stabilized?
Before this Russia issue heightened, there was already the fact that the threat that supply will still not meet demand, because since 2021, early 2021, the economy started opening up after the lockdowns in 2020. Demand for petroleum products have been rising steeply, and anytime demand is rising steeply and the corresponding supply doesn't come, automatically price will go up. So we were already facing these challenges, and then Russia came to add to that. So that's why we are seeing the prices rising.
Civil society organization Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEC) is also concerned about the situation.
When we want to increase taxes on fuel, they go to parliament and say, oh, increase this and add this and take this out. Now we are not even asking you to touch the taxes. Don't touch any tax, leave it, because the country is broke. So you collect the taxes, right?
Okay.
But manage such that what is being gained upstream, part of it goes to offset the pressure downstream. In other jurisdictions, they give part of their crude oil to their national refineries to refine, and then they keep their prices at the levels they want.
However, customers of the product are not enthused by the constant price increment over the period. They want government to intervene immediately to save the situation.
They're already up, so we can't do without driving, so we are still buying. I used to fill this car for almost about 300 cedis, and this morning I filled almost about 450. It's a worry because we're still taking the same salaries, and fuel prices are going up, and the salaries are not going up, so it's worrying.
Last year I buy 250 Ghana, but now you have to buy 420 before it will fill. Too much. Just last year and this year, it's too much.
But can the continuous surge in fuel prices cause another upward adjustment in transport fares? Yawamankwa is the Deputy General Secretary for the GPRTU.
When you work within 15%, we can survive in the transport industry. That's what the reason why we accepted the 15%. And as I said, according to this document, the communique we issue, whenever the prices goes up to 10%, we are at the liberty to increase our fares. So we are pleading with our drivers. They should take this for our members. They should work with this. And whenever the fuel prices goes up, we are there to increase it for them by 10%. So we are expecting that by 15th, 20th of next month, we hope the fare will be increased.
Meanwhile, the head of pricing at the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) has disclosed that customers would experience more increment in the coming days due to several factors.
Indeed, the market outlook is such that the prices for the future and the near-term future are high. We call this a backwardation in the market. Backwardation means that today's prices are higher than tomorrow's prices. So the market is rising. So the market is rising. So in the near future, and even what we are monitoring now, prices that we expect for the next window here in Ghana, looking at what's happening on the international market, the prices are still rising. So until the market calms down, and for us to see what the solution to this Russia issue mainly is, immediately we can say that we should still expect prices to rise.
It's not just petrol and diesel that are up. The price of liquefied petroleum gas LPG is also rising. I'm wondering what my next visit to the gas station will be like, because I know how much I cringe when it cost me about 100 Ghana cedis just to fill my cylinder. On the other hand, isn't this likely to affect the cost of cooked food too, since most of the vendors now use LPG?
Prices of petroleum products have been unstable over the past few months. While transport drivers and the public are adjusting to the fuel prices that subsequently led to an increase in transport fares, LPG, which is predominantly used for cooking in Ghanaian homes and restaurants, has also seen an increment in price. Speaking to City News, the vice chairman of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumi, said the only option available is for the government to scrap the tax components on LPG to lessen the burden on consumers.
If you go to Cote d'Ivoire, a neighboring country here, they are subsidizing the products to the tune of about 30 to 40%. Other African countries are subsidizing, but in Ghana, we have moved from subsidy, we went to full cost recovery, and we put almost 20% taxes on the product. LPG is a product that has an elastic demand. So any peswa increase in the price of the product goes a long way to affect its consumption. And if you look at the statistics, if you look at the figures, LPG consumption in Ghana is on the decline. We are declining in consumption. So at best, we are stagnant, and anything stagnant is in the decline state. So we will continue to appeal to government this is a very crucial time. This is a time government must take urgent measures to remove the taxes on LPG and make it tax-free.
He further noted that government may not achieve its intended objective to increase the household use of LPG if price keeps increasing. He believes the surest way to encourage the use of the product to the neglect of other environmentally unfriendly options, such as tree cutting for charcoal or firewood, is for the government to cushion consumers.
The people are shifting from LPG to wood fuel and to charcoal because that's the next alternative. How many people can cough up 150 cedis, 1.5 million cedis to buy LPG? So it has an alternative. And the alternative is in charcoal and wood fuel, and that is what people are switching to now. We would have expected that our population is growing, every other thing is growing. So consumption should have naturally grown, but we have seen consumption going down. So people are still eating, people are still cooking. So if your LPG consumption is going down, then you should know that your forest is being depleted.
Meanwhile, some LPG consumers decry the frequent price increases, saying it's taking a toll on their businesses.
I pay 2-3. Yeah.
Is that on the higher side, or you think it's okay?
No, it's higher because about 2 months I pay 1.8, and now I pay 2.33. So it's a high.
Just last week I was here. I bought every week I come to buy. It was 120 at first, and now it became 135. Now 142. Just today I'm buying it 142, which is too much. We are suffering.
The news team visited gas stations in Accra. The new price list has been displayed on a notice board at the Awudome-based Anasat Company Limited, but at the Lone Star Oil Company Limited, located at Car Price, management is yet to effect any change in price. The manager of the gas station, Bernard Wilberforce, spoke to City News.
I'm aware that there will be increments, but I haven't received anything from my boss, so I can't do anything about it unless maybe I had some information from it before. But for now, my price is the same as the old one.
When you say your price is the old one, how much is a kilo right now?
The kilo is 9 cedis, 31 pesos for now. And the liter is 5 cedis, 40 pesos per liter.
Is that not going to create any loss for you while your colleagues have already made some adjustment to the prices?
It may be, but I have to take instruction from my director before I can do something about it. For now, it hasn't given me any new price. I have to change whatever. So I have to stick to the old price. If it bring a new price, I'll change it.
Until there is some normalcy to current happenings on the global stage and a stable cedi to dollar exchange rates, stakeholders are predicting a gloomy turn of events in the petroleum sector in the coming days.
As if these are not enough, we have to prepare to shop at our market with an increased budget because the traders are set to increase prices. They argue that since the government at the beginning of this year reduced the discount on the duty they pay, they have no other option than to pass it on to consumers. After months of agitation and weeks of consultations with stakeholders in the trading community, including opposing parties, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations (GUTA) and the Association of Ghana Industries (AGI) on the benchmark values reduction policy, the government announced a 30% discount for all goods and 10% for vehicles. The move, according to the government, allows for a win-win situation for all parties and is to take effect from the 1st of March 2022. But the Association of Ghana Industries (AGI) is not enthused by the latest move by the government. The Traders Advocacy Group Ghana TAG believes the policy should have been maintained due to the prevailing economic conditions. According to the group, the depreciation of the cedi, coupled with the recent increase in port charges, has further worsened their plight, hence their cry.
We all know that COVID is still affecting us one way or the other, and business is not booming as it used to be. We were going to China. Now China has closed its borders. We have to do the import from China to come here. And even at times, the things we ask for are not the right things that come. It's worrying. But we traders have decided to look into the market and go as it is for the market and Ghanaians in all to be okay with the products we are selling here. Every trader makes profit. And if we sell and we lose, how will you import again? It's impossible. The dollar is up. The import duty benchmark is also going up. Our container freight, it's also going up. It's making the business very tedious.
Treasurer of TAG, Irene Odum, says they have no other option than to increase their prices to stay afloat.
This dollar thing, I created a scenario not long ago that we had a meeting and one of our sisters in Abosokai imported some batteries. The duty she paid in December was about 74,000. When she imported again in January, she had to pay 115,000. My brother, check the difference just on the dollar that was given. So if the dollar is being increased, the difference on the capital alone is huge. Now the import duty is also going with the benchmark at 80%. It's also going to go up. At the end of the day, you have to increase the goods to make up all those monies that you've paid so that you can import again. If not, then if you say you're not going to increase, how will you get money to import again? So we definitely have to increase the goods so that we can import.
It doesn't end there. Local food prices will in the coming months witness significant increases if the current Ukraine-Russia situation does not see any improvement. According to the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, fertilizer supply, which is already a challenge in the country, will become even more scarce given the fact that Russia accounts for 21% of the global potash market, a key component used in producing fertilizer.
The fertilizer industry has witnessed a number of challenges in the past year and a half. One major reason for this has been the COVID-19 pandemic, which came with increased production costs and trade limitations. Currently, producers are looking at potential price impacts from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russia accounts for 21% of the global potash markets, a key component used in the production of fertilizer. The situation, according to local farmers, will undoubtedly affect fertilizer supply and subsequently reduce produce from their farms, which will lead to limited supply and an increase in prices. Already, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana has warned of an imminent increase in food prices due to rising prices of fertilizer worldwide and has called on government to intervene in the situation. In an interview with City Business News, President of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Charles Nyaba, said consumers must be prepared to pay more for foodstuff considering the current fertilizer supply situation.
Global development has already impacted on our food situation. So if you look at the food supply for 2022, you realize that there is limited supply in almost all food commodities. Talk of maize, talk of soya, talk of sorghum, almost all food commodities that we depend on inputs from the global market. This is because COVID hit some of the fertilizer producing countries and the machineries supplying countries that we couldn't get the supply that is needed. As we speak, there is a shortage of fertilizer in the market. I'm currently in Upper East. Yesterday, I met farmers who are doing the dry season rice, and they are complaining that they are not even getting fertilizer to buy for their crops. Now, our fear is that with this Ukraine and Russia crisis, where countries are imposing sanctions on Russia, it is likely to affect supply of potash, which is used for production of NPA fertilizer. So, since Russia is a key supplier of that product that is globally used for production of fertilizer, and then also natural gas, which is needed for fertilizer production, it is going to exacerbate the already difficulties we have in fertilizer production.
These are really trying times for the Ghanaian economy. Already, the value of the cedi has reduced significantly, the highest in quite a while. This means business folks now need more cedis in exchange for the dollar to carry out their business. How is this affecting them, and what could be a likely solution?
With just 2 months into 2022, the Ghana cedi has been described as the worst performing currency among Africa's top currencies. This is because it has depreciated by about 8.86% to the dollar from January 1 to February 25, 2022. According to Bloomberg, the local currency has overtaken the Zambian kwacha, which was the worst performing currency on the continent about 2 weeks ago. Many analysts have attributed the cedi's problem to upside risks to the economy, including high debt and interest payments, inadequate revenue and rising expenditure. The situation has been a source of worry for a lot of people, especially those in the business community. Speaking on City TV's point of view, President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Yimdake, blamed traders importing finished goods for contributing to the struggles of the city. According to him, government should urgently put in place measures to increase exports and reduce imports into the country to check the rate of depreciation of the Ghana cedi against the dollar.
Today, by virtue of globalization and technology transfer everywhere, there are modern machines everywhere. If once you have a capacity, you have capital, you can buy the
But why are things more expensive than so if somebody wants to print a book, they can go to China and it will be cheaper than printing it in Ghana.
Let me show you why. So by virtue of their deeds, bringing only finished product, if you look at the value chain of value addition, it's limited. They don't create enough jobs, and then they turn around of their funds, it's in the value chain is short. When you bring even raw materials, your value chain is longer. And then number two, when you go into that, the extent of money they bring, it affects the exchange rate in terms of the deficit of exchange rate that we need, the BOG needs to.
So they put pressure on the exchange rate.
They do because
they demand it for finished products.
Thank you.
But how many finished products are you able to do?
How many finished products?
Most of the things.
We do a number of them.
So if
GRA reports indicates that 70% of production activities that generates revenue, here you find it in the local markets.
Speaking on the same program on the subject of the struggling local cedi and its effect on the critical sectors of the economy, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, also called for measures to be put in place to ensure foreign-led businesses stagger the repatriation of foreign exchange out of Ghana to guard against the perennial depreciation of the Ghana cedi against the US dollar.
For the past couple of years, from 2019 to date, we have been recording surplus in our balance of trade. If that is the case, what is the push factor for depreciation? That's what we are not thinking about. You see, the main problem of this economy, the problem of the depreciation have become perennial. It has become perennial around this time, December end to January, beginning of January, where the masters of the economy are running up their accounts and repatriate their profits and all that. And when I talk about the masters of the economy, I mean the foreign dominance of our economy, who own the juiciest parts of the economy. There should be a system that will make them stagger their repatriation, maybe quarterly, so that it does not come and lump on the end of the year. We can do that. That this expatriate can do this.
All right.
Stagger them.
One way to preserve the value of the cedi is to reduce our level of importation. But then, what options do we have if our economy is import dependent? Well, the Finance Ministry is proposing to the trading community a new industrialization committee to help importers begin manufacturing some of the things they buy from other countries. Beyond ensuring the value of our currency is protected, think about the jobs this would create.
The Finance Ministry last week announced that after consultations with stakeholders in the trading community on the benchmark values reduction policy, the government had finally concluded on a 30% discount for all imported goods and 10% discount for imported vehicles. This represented a drop from the previous situation, which saw a discount of 50% being applied on the benchmark values of selected goods and a 30% discount being applied on imported vehicles. While the Association of Ghana Industries (AGI) expressed their disappointment with the announcement, the importing community, including members of the Ghana Union of Traders Association and the Importers and Exporters Association, welcomed the move. However, in an effort to ultimately reduce the quantum of imports to Ghana in the medium to long term, the Finance Ministry has proposed the formation of an industrialization committee to help some of the importers begin producing some of the things they import. A Deputy Minister of Finance, Abena Osei-Asare, who confirmed this to City Business News, said it will help government in its industrialization drive.
The icing on the cake was for us to form an industrialization committee, a committee that will help our traders move from just importers to also be able to produce locally some of the things they import. And this, we believe, will go a long way and to help us in our industrialization drive. It's a proposal that the minister made to Guta and the other stakeholders that were there with us in the meeting. We believe that we should start small. The things we import, what can we do to reduce our incidence or our reliance on these imports? And so we want to bring this committee together and see how best we can streamline and make it possible for some of our importers to be able to set up factories there. Already, we have the 1G, 1F, and various other interventions that government has put in place to help in the industrialization drive. And we believe this will add on to what government is already doing.
Access to funding has always been a major challenge for businesses. Yet on the other hand, banks aren't very keen on giving out loans because of the challenges involved. Who would like to give out money to someone you have very limited information on? Stakeholders in the trading community are urging the government to do all it can to address the lack of proper data in the informal sector to improve the situation.
Data from the Bank of Ghana has indicated that the banking sector's non-performing loans ratio increased to 14.8% at end of 2020 compared to 14.3% in 2019. Even though the rate of increase might not seem huge, it still raises concerns about how banks are consistently not able to recover loans. A number of factors account for this, and prevalent amongst them is the lack of proper data on citizens in the country. This has compelled banks to be averse towards giving loans to traders. CEO of Air Global Financial Services, Nana Apia Owusu, says even though institutions like his are keen on providing funding for traders, the lack of adequate data on these individuals makes it a high-risk venture.
In this dispensation in terms of trade and commerce, what is very key is if you are able to deal with a group of people that you are reliable, or you have the safety that they are easily located or can be traced to a very credible source. I think that makes your job very easy for you. One leg of every trade or business is you look at the risk aspect of it. Now, if there is a very reliable data, especially we are very happy dealing with TAG, because we realize that they have a system that if you are a member with them, dealing with us, give us some form of assurance that no matter the situation, you are capable of at least doing something that will minimize the risk in the industry for us as financial engineers, or providing the credit facility for you to do your business.
He was speaking at the signing of a financial MOU between his outfit and the Traders Advocacy Group Ghana, TAG. Traders unions like TAG say they have been compelled to take matters into their own hands by collecting the data of their members in a bid to address the challenge. President of TAG, David Amwating, stressed that the government must do more to improve the situation to better the fortunes of players in the informal sector.
If you are a trade association and you will be able to put up such data, robust data like TAG, you see, it's become easier for trade finance group like EL Global to meet you and also to support your members. And I think one reason why we thought it wise that we will put our heads together and our finances together to put up this data is to support our traders, because we are traders. And mind you, TAG, if you are not a trader, if you're a contractor, you don't belong here. So once the people who are leading are traders, we understand the language of our traders. And we tax ourselves that by 2-3 years into our being into office, we will make sure that we will lighten the burden of traders. That is why we have put up this robust data. So it was not surprising at all when EL Global came to our office, and after going through our data, they were convinced. And today, by God's grace, the contract has been signed.
Now to the e-levy. Even though a section of the public are opposed to the policy, it appears it's probably one of the few lifelines left for the government to keep the country running. A Deputy Minister of Finance, John Kumar, says the government might have a challenge fulfilling some critical payment obligations if its revenue mobilization measures, including the electronic transfer levy, are not supported.
One major component within the 2022 budget statement, which sharply divides opinions, is the electronic transfer levy, which has popularly become known as the e-levy. While many have criticized and described it as retrogressive, the government insists it is the game changer. John Amponche Kuma is a Deputy Finance Minister.
First of all, it is not true that Ghana cannot pay workers in the next 3 months. Let me give the firm assurance that workers are going to receive their pay. In fact, in the midst of COVID, when things were tough, Ghanaian workers received their pay. January came, Ghanaian workers were paid. February, Ghanaian workers will be paid. And I don't foresee any such lack of liquidity for critical payments of government. 2, I think that the Speaker has made a very genuine call to all members of Parliament that we must move Parliament beyond partisanship and support government domestic revenue mobilization programs, especially the e-levy, so that we don't create a very difficult financial constraint for government. And I think that is how Speaker wanted to put it when he said, if we don't support it, Parliament has passed the 2022 appropriation bill. What it means is that government has to spend. And yet, a key critical component of the revenues that will help you to spend, which is the e-levy, is being opposed in Parliament. As we speak, Parliament has not been able to pass that. So the Speaker has expressed a very genuine concern that if we don't put politics aside and support the government in the revenue measure, it may get to a time, but I don't foresee that in the 3 months. It may get to a time that it will become difficult for critical payments of government to be fulfilled.
John Kuma made this statement on the sidelines of the inauguration of the Ashanti Regional Youth Parliament as a guest speaker under the theme, The Ghanaian Taxation System, the sustainability of her development. Speaking at the event, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Samuel Osemensa, and the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, Pius Enam Hadije, stressed the need for Ghanaians to support the e-levy.
My question to the 8th Parliament now is, why then did you pass the appropriation bill? Because the mere approval of the appropriation bill means that the government can go ahead and spend. But you are saying a source of revenue in that appropriation bill cannot be passed. I think we should start thinking about this country and the development of the country rather than being too partisan. It's not going to help this country. It is not going to help the development agenda of the government. Why should we always have cap in hand, moving from country to country, soliciting for support, when we have the capacity to mobilize resources internally to support ourselves? If the government says we want to build Ghana beyond aid, and we don't want to pay taxes, then what are we doing to ourselves?
These days, you hear many politicians shout, "Yentuya, yentuya, we won't pay taxes. We don't want e-levy." So the question is, where does Ghana get money to build the roads and the bridges we want? Where does Ghana get money to finance free SHS, teacher and nurse training allowances, build 111 hospitals across districts and regions without hospitals? Where does Ghana get money to pay salaries and emoluments of workers, including our own parents? Where should the youth start money come from to build young entrepreneurs and create 1 million jobs?
For City News, I'm Edward Upon Marful, Kumasi.
Yeah, boss, you go buy every 10 cities, 20 cities, you go buy. Ghana is endowed with so many natural resources, but the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, says the country is yet to fully benefit from all rules and regulations meant to ensure transparency within the petroleum and other extractive resource sectors. ACEP believes Ghana has recorded a lot of gains with passage of key transparency legislations for the extractive sector, but all that has not translated into real accountability for the benefit of the people. Yes, 10 cities, why not, Toby?
Since the commencement of commercial petroleum production from the Jubilee field in 2010, legislations including the Petroleum Revenue Management Act have been enacted. Other institutions like the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, and the Ghana Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, GETI, have also been established to promote transparency in the management of petroleum and other extractive resource revenues. However, speaking to City Business News on the sidelines of a student rally on extractive revenue management organized by the Africa Center for Energy Policy for students of Takrady Technical University and some SHS students, the head of monitoring, evaluation and learning at ACEP, Mabel Akwe, said transparency without active citizenship cannot yield accountability.
One thing is that one gain we have made as a country is the fact that we are doing well in terms of transparency, in terms of churning out comprehensive laws that is supposed to guide us in the development of our natural resources. What is left is the role, is translating this transparency into accountability, because more often than not is the accountability bit that will get duty bearers on their toes to be more effective in terms of proper management of the resources that has been vested in their hands. So this is why we are here today embarking on these youth outreaches, because we believe that the level of passiveness, yes, among the citizenry is too high. It's like once it does not affect you directly, you don't care. We don't even bother to know what's in the budget. We are not bothered to know what oil revenues, what our mineral revenues are being used for.
On how to increase local content employment within the petroleum sector, I spoke to the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering at the Takrady Technical University, which is the only technical university at the hub of the petroleum sector.
We are also taking leverage of our proximity to the oil sector within the Western region, also to use their facilities in our teaching and learning process, all to better our product and to prepare them for the world of work. We have also signed MOUs with some oil and gas and energy companies, which allows our students to take industrial attachment with them during the vacation period. We've also got what we call the Jubilee Technical Training Center, which is an industry-replicated learning environment center, which all students going through the energy and its related programs on campus go through, which also provide them with the opportunity to acquire additional industrial certification in the oil and gas.
Still on Ghana's natural resources, and the report by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, has revealed that Ghana earned a total of $6.55 billion in petroleum receipts between 2011 and 2020. The assessment report of the petroleum sector also revealed that an amount of $31 billion has been generated from Ghana's 3 producing oil fields between the years under review.
Commercial production of oil and gas in Ghana commenced in December 2010 following the discovery of the play-opening Jubilee field offshore Ghana in 2007. Since then, oil and gas production and exports have provided a critical boost to Ghana's economy over the past 10 years. It has become a fundamental component of the country's industrial strategy and transition to a middle-income country, acting as the lever to provide jobs and energy security. The Public Interest and Accountability Committee (PIAC) report titled Assessment of the Management and Use of Ghana's Petroleum Revenues between 2011 and 2020 assessed Ghana's management and use of petroleum revenue in line with the requirements of Ghana's Petroleum Revenue Management Act 2011, Act 815 as amended by Act 893, and the Petroleum Revenue Management Regulations 2019. According to the report, Ghana earned about $6.5 billion from oil and gas production as of the end of 2020, equivalent to 9.97% of gross domestic product. Regarding the breakdown of the petroleum receipts by fiscal instrument, PIAC said carried and participating interest by far generated the highest for Ghana, accounting for 58% or $3.8 billion of the total revenue earned. On the allocation of petroleum revenue inflows, the report revealed that annual budget funding amount received the highest amount of $2.6 billion, that's 40% over the period. This is followed by the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation receiving $2 billion, that's 30%, the Ghana Stabilization Fund receiving an amount of $1.4 billion, that's 21% of total revenues, whereas the Ghana Heritage Fund received $586 million, that's 9% of the total allocation. The report further showed that 3 oil-producing fields, namely Jubilee, Trinidad Anyira Ntome, and Sankofa Jingami fields, account for petroleum revenues as of the end of 2020. According to PIAC, an amount of $31.2 billion in value was generated from these fields in the 10-year period. The report further recommends that production will continuously decline if nothing is done through new infill developments on these existing fields or new fields coming on stream. In addition, PIAC recommends that Ghana must adopt a laser-like approach to cost monitoring, as this, along with transfer pricing, is one of the major ways the state loses money in the industry.
Now to gold. We should be expecting a significant increase in our earnings from the mineral, because the government, through the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, has set up a laboratory that will help determine the exact quality and quantity of gold leaving the country.
As part of the government's efforts to discourage gold smuggling in the country, last year it was announced that effective January 1, 2022, small-scale miners will no more be required to pay 3% withholding tax on gold at the point of export through the Precious Minerals Marketing Company (PMMC). Already, the PMMC says the move is yielding positive results.
Although in the past couple of years we saw a decline in export figures, partly attributable to the 3% withholding tax on gold, we are happy to observe that export figures have gradually begun to pick up since the beginning of this year, since government's reduction of the withholding tax from 3% to 1.5%. Your Excellency, we thank you for granting us a listening ear when we came to you on this matter.
The managing director of PMMC, Nana Akwesiehua, was speaking at the launch of the digitized National Assay Laboratory. The laboratory will ensure that Ghana gets value for money for the export of its gold. The facility will enforce all due diligence protocols that checks the quality and quantity of gold leaving the country. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abdullahi Jinapor, stated that the move forms part of a greater effort by the government to improve efficiency in the sector.
This is not the end. We have already, under the Ghana Land Restoration and Small-Scale Mining Project, commenced the processes of upgrading the National Assay Laboratory and have it fitted with a fire assay equipment to enable PMMC undertake fire assaying, which the experts say is the most definitive and most reliable means of assaying gold. And in order to optimize revenue generated from our precious minerals, we are also considering quantifying the silver component of the gold doré bars to be able to exact the requisite tax on silver. Research and stakeholder engagement on this are still ongoing.
On his part, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, indicated that the government was committed to digitizing the mining industry.
In 2017, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo directed that government identifies a way to independently verify gold exports in order to ensure that the country obtains revenue from its precious mineral resources. We've had a few meetings at the economic management team with the PMMC and other stakeholders in the industry, all in a way to try to achieve this objective that the president has set.
As we strive to increase demand for our local rice, it appears there still are lingering challenges in the production process. The Rice Millers Association of Ghana is lamenting the current state of their produce because of unfavorable weather conditions and unavailable silos to store their rice.
Research has shown that although rice is the second most important staple food after maize in Ghana, only 1/3 of rice consumed is produced locally. In the recent past, rice farmers with some government support and initiatives, like the Made in Ghana Rice campaign spearheaded by the CEO of City FM and City TV, Samuel Atamensa, saw an increase in the demand for the produce. At the moment, however, rice producers have to cope with what they describe as unfair competition from imported rice due to the benchmark values discount policy, which makes imported rice cheaper by 25% when compared to local rice. Rice farmers have also complained of inefficient seed systems, inappropriate harvesting equipment, costly transport and logistics, insufficient milling capacities, and inadequate storage facilities, resulting in volume and quality post-harvest losses. Meanwhile, they still have to deal with the perception from some consumers that local rice is inferior to imported rice. In an interview with City Business News, convener of the Rice Millers Association of Ghana, Yao Educhum, explained that given the current weather conditions, rice farmers are in dire need of silos and asks governments to step up their efforts in protecting the local rice industry.
So the local rice industry is struggling. That is the point. It is actually struggling. As I talk to you, I have an order to deliver. It's not because I cannot or I'm incompetent. The point is that we don't have the rice to even do the delivery, because at this point that the Harmattan has set in, the rice is dried, totally dried up. So when I mill it, it comes out 100% broken. And that means that the cost of the value that I put on the rice will be reduced by 50%. And so I run at a loss. This can be mitigated simply by putting in structures that will store the rice at the harvest time so that we don't talk about blood. We have been talking and talking and talking. Nobody is listening. Nobody is listening. I've gone all the way from the Minister of Agriculture to the Minister of Finance with a proposal to bring in US Exim Bank, which was ready to give us a facility so that we install across the country about 100,000 metric tons of silo so that we can put in the surplus. It came to naught. Nobody took me serious. So that proposal is then on the table in the Ministry of Finance as I talk to you. But we are all trying to help the government to achieve its aim.
If you ever had any doubts about using your Ghana card in place of your passport, our next video will clear it up for you. This is because arriving Ghanaian passengers went through due processes supervised by the Ghana Immigration Service at the airport to verify their cards against the National Identity Register to accept them into the country instead of using a passport. How cool!
The Ghana Immigration Service on Monday announced to the public that beginning Tuesday, March 1st, a valid Ghana card will be accepted as e-passport for nationals and dual nationals returning to the country. This followed the official recognition of the Ghana card as an international civil aviation organization compliant travel document. On Tuesdays, passengers who arrived at the Kotoka International Airport with the Ghana card visited designated booths to verify their identities against the National Identity Register. In less than 10 minutes, their cards were scanned, pictures taken, and they were successfully admitted into the country without the use of their passports. Head of Public Relations for the Ghana Immigration Service, Superintendent Michael Amoakwanta, outlined the processes the passengers passed through to have them approved into the country.
When the flight arrived, you captured the process to the designated booths where these Ghanaians holding Ghana cards were processed. And indeed, we did also confirmed that they were arrived and processed on their Ghana cards. First, there was a verification of the genuineness of the card and the legal holder of the card, after which they were admitted into the country. So that's basically the process. And again, like we said in the release, for now, the first step is for Ghanaians traveling into Ghana. If we want to go further and use the Ghana card to travel to other jurisdictions, then, like we said in the communication, Ghana should have bilateral agreements with any other country that will want to have that kind of reciprocal travel agreement with us. But for now, there's nothing in the offing. What we are doing now is to help Ghanaians come to Ghana on the Ghana card. And most importantly also, for dual national card holders, they do not need to apply for visas. So now the card waives up the need for a visa.
Some of the passengers who spoke to City Business News expressed satisfaction with the process.
It's much easier than before because I'm a frequent traveler. Because me using the passport, sometimes it keeps like, it's going to take me like about 20 to 25 minutes. But me having the Ghana card, it's easier for me to go through the process like about 5 minutes. So it's more easier. So I would say anybody that doesn't have the Ghana card has to try and get it. And maybe if you're not ready to travel, maybe one day you will. And when you come in, it will be more easier for you to go through the process when you arrive in Kotoka.
If I should compare the time I spent when I used my passport and then my Ghana card, I feel the Ghana card was faster. Because in less than 2 minutes, it was like, take your mask off and then take your picture. So I felt I would take even though the passport is fair enough, I'll still prefer the Ghana card compared to the passport when it comes to time consciousness. Yeah. Kind of happy because I used to ask myself, what am I using my Ghana card for? Because I'm a Ghanaian, yes, but then I felt the card has to be used more because there should be more to the card than just having it as, going to the bank, using it for signing checks and all that. So I feel we are now feeling the use of the Ghana card.
And it was easy. All stressful, just to pick I don't know, they use it. And treat everybody to do it. Not hesitate and not having it. It's very good.
The Ghana Export Promotion Center, GEPA, is encouraging small and medium-sized enterprises to register under the entity to enable them access support to explore opportunities in the international market. The authority is building the capacity of women in textiles and agribusiness to help them take advantage of the international market and other export potentials.
For most of these women and other individuals in the small and medium-sized enterprise space, getting the opportunity to export their products has been a challenge. With the intervention by the Ghana Export Promotion Authority with support from the Canadian Trade Facilitation Office, they will be able to cross that hurdle.
So I think this training will be of a big
help to us because we want to export, but we don't know how to go about it. I've been banging my head in offices in Accra, in Kumasi. I give up because there are so many things you have to do and you are not aware of it. So I think this training is going to be a very big step in the work that we do.
There are the orders coming in from lots of African countries, but unfortunately as a small company, I can't meet the demand. And I'm hoping to get finance also, and also support from banks and other institutions that can help me grow or expand my operations.
The training is to create more job opportunities and help groom SMEs, especially women, to have easy access to international markets. GEPA believed this has become more relevant with the coming in of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
This is very important to us because the women in trade are doing very well in terms of numbers, that is the volumes. But then we've realized that intermittently they don't have time to do research because of their multi-task nature. They don't have time to do research. So we often organize programs like this. We also have our export school, where sometimes twice or thrice in a year we organize for people to come and train. So in between that, we collaborate with either ITC or TFO to organize programs like this just to build their capacity to be able to take advantage of the export space. You will agree with me that we have the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We have a lot of opportunities. They are not even aware that they should even collaborate among themselves instead of competing among themselves.
The authority is also urging SMEs to register under it to benefit from the vast opportunities they offer.
At Ghana Export Promotion Authority, like I said, the bigger challenge, they don't even know that they are supposed to register with us. But when they register with us, we will give them the requisite knowledge. Like I said, we have an export school where we will take you into export fundamentals, the basics, what you actually need, the documentation, the legal aspect. We will take them through all that. Some of them export financing, even identify the markets. They don't even know. And so opportunity like this is the gap that we have identified, and we intend to fill the gap. First of all, they should get registered with Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and then they get to know what it takes to go into the export space.
The Trade Facilitation Office of Canada also encourages enterprises to form networks to explore available markets.
One of the challenges also that we find is the lack of working together and networking. A lot of enterprises can find themselves in similar products or services, and it is imperative for us to bring all these enterprises together for them to work in synergies, because you might have a contract or you might have that business to bring something to another country, but capacity-wise you will not be able to do that.
The theme for the workshop is Facilitate Exports for Inclusive and Sustainable Growth.
Well, this is all time will allow us for this week's edition of the Business Weekly Show here on City TV, your most watched business show in the country. For regular business news updates, check out our website, citybusinessnews.com, or tune into the Business Dashboard, which airs every weekday at 10 p.m, repeats the following day at 7 and 10:30 a.m. My name is Michael Obodu. Hit me up on Twitter at mobodu. Catch you same time next week. Stay safe, stay informed, and happy independence. Bye-bye.